welcome to Use It or Lose It, where I help you keep food out of the landfill and get every penny out of your food dollar. Well, not so much today. So if you have been following me, you know that I moved several months ago. I didn't say where I moved. And where did I move? Western North Carolina. Yes, I was right smack in the middle of Hurricane Helene. Thankfully, I did not suffer any damage to my home or vehicle. Yay! But I was without power for 6 days. No power, no cell service, no internet. So what does that mean? That means fridge not working, stove not working, what to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about emergency preparedness since I just recently went through this. So if you're like me and you don't want to go without coffee, you need to have a non-electric coffee maker. Me, I have been making pour-over coffee with my trusty Melita for, 40 years. Never fails if there's a power outage. But how are you going to heat water? So if you have a grill, if they're calling for bad weather, make sure that you have appropriate fuel for your grill. Propane, charcoal, whatever. Me, I am in a community that has a gas grill by the pool. That didn't open for a couple of days. So I have now bought myself a little 2-burner camp stove so that I never have to go without coffee. So if indeed you do have a grill, make sure you use that, because if you're going to be without power for an extended period, foods inside the refrigerator are only good for 4 to 6 hours. Freezer food, if you don't open it, is more like 48 hours. Okay, so if you have that little grill, then you can start cooking up a storm. Invite your neighbors over for a barbecue, but at least you'll have options. Past that 48-hour mark, sorry, Charlie. Me, I don't have a large cooler, so moving things from the freezer to a cooler with ice wasn't an option. C'est la vie. But I tell you, things that I did make with shelf-stable food. So in preparation for an emergency situation, make sure that you have a selection of canned foods. For example, canned beans, canned soup, canned tomatoes, canned vegetables, because all of those are things that you can easily make into meals using a grill or a camp stove. Make sure that you have some sort of cookware that you can put on a grill. And here's a little tip I learned in the Girl Scouts. Put soap on the bottom of those pans, because if, for example, you're using a charcoal grill, the char will be easy to wash off after you've had it on your grill. So that's a little handy tip. That's assuming you have water. I was fortunate. I had low pressure water, which was okay for flushing toilets and washing dishes, but not so much for ingesting or washing me. And thankfully, I had filled up my bathtub with clean water before the storm hit, so I had a ready supply of clean water to use for cooking. So what are some of the things that I made? Well, I made my 3-bean slaw because I still had cabbage. And vegetables in your refrigerator, as long as they're not cut, you can use them past that 6-hour mark. Cut vegetables, they, present an opportunity for bacteria, so be cautious with any cut vegetables that you may have. So that 3-bean slaw, which is 3 different kinds of beans plus coleslaw in a sweet and sour vinaigrette, it makes a huge bowl full. And so I ate that for several days. Requires no heating, so kind of the perfect thing for one of these emergency situations. Also, peanut butter and jelly, the classic. You can't go wrong with peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter is a great source of protein, and jelly or preserves, just as the name suggests with preserves, they don't really need refrigeration. So you're safe to eat that also past that 6-hour mark. Other foods in your refrigerator that are safe would be anything with a high vinegar content. So for example, mustards, olives, those kinds of condiments. Likewise, ketchup, which has a lot of sugar in it. So not mayonnaise. Don't even think about eating the mayonnaise. So those are some of the things. Soy sauce, Worcestershire, those all have really high vinegar content, so they remain stable without refrigeration. But, you know, be prepared to throw out a lot of stuff. I have just restocked my freezer, so I did lose a lot of food. One of the things that I did on my community grill was that I made potato salad. So I took my cut up potatoes and water down to the grill, boiled them until they were done, and then coated them in a vinaigrette sauce. So it's more of a German style. Throw in some celery, some onion, and, you know, it's filling, and, you know, it kind of gets you over the hump. So other shelf-stable foods you should consider keeping in your pantry are long-conserved milk. So that's, for example, one brand is Parmalat. That has been ultra-pasteurized, so it's shelf-stable. So you combine that with cereal. Hey, you got a meal. Cereal is shelf-stable, so that's another thing. Granola bars, protein bars, those are also good to have on hand. You know, when you don't have power, you can't cook. But remember, with that camp stove, that opens up a lot more possibilities. And here's another thing. So all those canned goods I talked about, make sure you have a manual can opener. No power, no electric can opener. So that's another part of your emergency kit. Some other helpful things: go to the dollar store and get some of those solar-powered garden stakes. They're, you know, $1.25 a piece, and that can be used as emergency lighting. I have a battery-operated LED lantern that was a lifesaver. It provided enough light for me to be able to read, crochet, other activities like that. And here's another handy tip. Always have some non-power related activities. So keep a kind of a no electric to-do list. I organized my CDs, I filed, I read, I crocheted, I, did all these little kind of honeydew things around the house that didn't hung a picture. So that's something that keeps you from going stark raving mad when you don't have access to the internet. So these are just some tips and tricks for that next time that you suffer a power outage due to a hurricane or a blizzard. Let's face it, climate change is happening, and we're going to see more of these events. We're doing our part by trying to keep food out of the landfill, which cuts down on methane and other gases that pollute the atmosphere. So keep doing that. Lower your carbon footprint any way you can, but it's also good to be prepared. So that's all I have to say today. If you have any questions, let me know. There's plenty of information on the internet about other tips and tricks for being prepared in an emergency. So good luck and see you soon. Bye.